Hello, this is another video I'm making about Kyle Adams' recent video which claims that the tropics break the globe. If you watched my first video, you know that I created a 3D model in GeoGebra. That 3D model is not yet acceptable to Kyle Adams. He's made a series of questions about it. He's requested I add more markers, more lines, and whatnot on it. But I decided to make a physical model which will allow me a little more tangible evidence with which to refute any claim that Kyle made in this video regarding the tropics and the appearance of the sun north of due east and your shadow appearing south of due west. Any of the claims he made regarding those defeating or breaking or debunking the globe. So I first made three private or three unlisted YouTube videos, and I'll be focusing on two of them here. And then I have a third one where I go over in detail the physical structure of the yoga ball that I used in my model. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that already in this discussion, Kyle has demonstrated a unorthodox definition of tangent, for example, when it comes to a tangent line. He's expressed, or he's made the claim that a tangent line to a circle doesn't necessarily have to just touch the perimeter of the circle at one point. For Kyle, both these red lines are tangent to the circle at these blue X's. So this is part of what I'm up against in attempting to create a physical model of the globe that shows that the shadows seen by him earlier in July are not in fact antithetical to the globe model. So I'm going to start with the first video I want to show, which uses the yoga ball and 4 markers held in place with Play-Doh. I'm going to play the video once and then play it again, pausing it and identifying certain features. So this is the Earth very, very close to the summer solstice, and it's meant to show that there can be shadows north of the Tropic of Cancer at sunrise, the shadows pointing south of west. All right, so we have these 2 markers. You'll notice this marker here has a shadow, and this marker here does not. This part of the ball is the North Pole. This marker is at around 37.5 degrees north latitude. This marker is at about 22.5 degrees north latitude. It is on, for my model's purposes, the Tropic of Cancer. And I don't make it very obvious here, but there is no shadow from this marker. And the way I did that is having the yoga ball resting on a waste paper basket, I was able to point it and rotate it in such a way that this marker here at 22.5 degrees north latitude was pointing directly at the sun. So that means it has no shadow. This marker at 37.5 degrees does have a shadow, and it looks like it's just past or just prior to solar noon here. Now, as I come out, first of all, you can see that these two markers are on the same line of latitude. And it's a little harder to tell, but these two markers are also on the same line of latitude. Kyle did not believe that that was the case, but I've shown him from stills in this video that that is in fact the case, and I'm showing him now if he watches this video. So this pair of markers are on the same latitude, and this pair of markers are on the same latitude. And as I come over here, you can see that the shadows from these markers, these shadows are pointing south of due west for both of these locations. And what I do next is I rotate my camera somewhat. First of all, I rotate the camera so that we can get pretty much a straight line from north down to south, right? And you can tell then that yes, these shadows are pointing south of due west. And then the last thing I do, once again, just to show that these pairs of markers are truly on the same lines of latitude. So this first model, physical model of Southern Shadows 2, that video represents the Earth on or very, very close to the summer solstice. This next video, physical model of Southern Shadows 3, represents some time before or after the summer solstice. These markers are on the same 37.5 and 22.5 lines of latitude, but you'll see that the two that are at solar noon, they do have shadows. Both of them have shadows. I haven't played through this video yet, but it is essentially the same format as the previous one, so I'll just be highlighting the features in this video. So yes, you can see that there is a shadow here, a very short shadow from that marker, and there's a longer shadow from this marker. This is not a reflection of the marker. It truly is its shadow. And once again, you can see that these markers are on the same lines of latitude, this pair and this pair. Once again, I come around and I show you that the shadows are pointing south of due west. And once more, I rotate the camera. And then I try to get directly above this one. So again, we have a kind of north-south line here, and we can see that the shadows are indeed south of due west. Now what I'd like to do is play this video. I have commentary in the video already. It basically just goes over the yoga ball and gives you some information about the rings on it and how I used it. This is the yoga ball that I used in my models of the Earth, and I'd like to show you the features. First of all, I have it resting on a garbage can. Excuse me, a waste paper basket. This allows me to tilt it at any angle I need. The equator is a very faint ring around the center of the yoga ball. And north and south of the equator, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rings. And then you can say that there is a 12th ring at the very top. So there is not an actual 12th ring, but there would be a single point at the very north pole of the yoga ball. And that would indicate, as I'm about to say, the 90 north latitude mark. To indicate 90 degrees north latitude, that would be the North Pole. So If we have these 12 divisions north and south of the equator, 90 degrees divided by 12 is 7.5. That means between each pair of rings is 7.5 degrees. That means from the equator, 7.5, 15, 22.5. This approximates the Tropic of Cancer on my model. I'm using 22.5 degrees as an approximation for the Tropic of Cancer because the rings give me a consistent latitude around the ball, so I can make sure that when I put two markers on a ring, they truly are at the same latitude. I didn't want to approximate another degree north of that to get 23.5 degrees, which is almost exactly the Tropic of Cancer on the Earth. But that doesn't invalidate this model in any way. On my model, the Tropic of Cancer is at 22.5 degrees, and I use the sun being directly above the Tropic of Cancer in my first video there, the Physical Model of Southern Shadows 2 video. Another 15 degrees above that. And you'll notice I went from this latitude, skipping one to the next, because each of these is 7.5 degrees. So two of them is 15 degrees. That brings us from 22.5 to is 37.5 degrees, which approximates Kyle Adams' location in Utah. Kyle Adams was filming from Laverkin, Utah, which is around, I think, 37.5 or 37.25 degrees. So again, this is not his exact latitude, but it approximates it. It doesn't invalidate the model. It is a latitude north of the tropic, and it is a latitude that can have a shadow pointing south of due west when the sun is above the Tropic of Cancer. So, those are my videos about my physical model of the Earth using a yoga ball, 4 toothpicks, a bit of my toddler's Play-Doh, and a waste paper receptacle. And of course, the light source I used for my demonstration was none other than the actual sun itself. I did that because that gave my model the closest light source possible to reality. If I had attempted to do it with a spotlight, my spotlight would be smaller than my model of the Earth, and that would introduce some inaccuracies or some discrepancies in the way that the light from the light source interacted with the sticks on the model. That's why I used the actual sun as my light source. And by placing the yoga ball on the waste paper receptacle, I was able to rotate the yoga ball however I needed in order to get the sun to be directly overhead to the marker at solar noon on the Tropic of Cancer. I hope this video is informative. I hope Kyle does in fact watch it and studies it, reviews my analysis, and then we can proceed with our conversation from there. Thank you very much. This is Night Sky Jeff. Remember, keep looking up.